Hi kiddies! Welcome to the Haunted Dungeon. I am Dr. Zirkus, the Midwest Harbinger host of horror, and you know my friend Frank, my sophisticated stoic sidekick. Well, tonight on the Haunted Dungeon show, we have something very, very special. Something we've never done before. We actually have a brand new horror host making her debut right here on this show. And we're going to have a great time because we're going to be, not showing a movie like we usually do, but we're going to be talking about one. We're going to be discussing the 1962 movie called Carnival of Souls. And our new horror host, her name is Dahlia Nightshade, and she is going to do something kind of special, different for our show. She has a cooking segment where she's going to be teaching us some of her favorite recipes. And, well, I'm kind of a good cook myself, and, Frank may not think so, but, I like my food. And so I think that what we need to do is we need to kind of get into cooking mode, and let's get some, how about some chef hats? We need hats. I'm going to trade in my top hat for a hat that I can cook in, and, Frank, I think you need one too. And, let's do this with maybe a little bit of magic. We'll do it in 3, 2, 1. There we are. How about that, Frank? We've got our chef hats on. Let's let Dahlia Nightshade take it away.
Hello, darlings. I am Dahlia Nightshade. Dr. Zirkus has summoned me to the Haunted Dungeon this evening. And one does not ignore a summons from a carnival doctor. This evening we prepare a feast for a Carnival of Souls. Not all carnivals are meant for the living. But before we indulge the midway, we must speak of our heroine in this film, Mary Henry. Mary survives a car accident. She emerges from the river changed. She's not hysterical. She's not grieving. She's not relieved. She is detached.
Mary Henry. Are you all right? How'd you get out? Yeah, put this on. We better get you back to town. What about the other girl?
I don't remember.
Mary is not a typical horror heroine. She is not chased. She is not hunted. She takes a church organist position in a town that does not fit her, for a religion she does not have faith in. She resists connection. She seems almost inconvenienced by the living. At times, she cannot hear others, nor can she be heard. That is not spectacle horror. That is existential. And if we're being completely honest, Mary feels less like a ghost and more like someone who's answered too many emails, attended too many obligations, smiled one too many polite smiles, and quietly stepped out of herself. She is not screaming. She is not unraveling. She is simply no longer entirely present, which is far more unsettling because we recognize it.
It's snack time, kiddies, and nothing's better than shredded and beheaded tots from Old Ida. And as Old Ida would say, eat your tots!
Tonight's indulgence begins simply. Kettle corn. I was actually able to find this, believe it or not, at the Dollar Tree. And when you buy this, it helps support local farmers. Poppin' Cobb's microwave popcorn on the cob. You must begin by simply popping a bag of popcorn, and the bag comes with it, so that's lovely. You simply put the actual corn cob in the bag, fold first on the first line, and the instructions are literally on the bag. It is foolproof. You cannot mess this up. Although I am positive someone will. Fold secondly on the second line. And then into the microwave. Now that our popcorn is popped, empty it into our bowl. And be very careful removing the cob. It is hot and there are unpopped kernels. But remove as many of the popped kernels as you can. But the beauty of this is that most of the unpopped kernels actually stay on the cob. And you don't deal with the little bits that get stuck in your teeth for days on end, because it's all still on the cob. Now yes, this is absolutely 112% bland. And besides, we are making kettle corn. First, we lightly spray. And mix. And spray again. Lastly, a touch of sweetness. I prefer monk fruit sweetener. Tastes just like sugar. Without the calories. 1 tablespoon. A touch of salt. And for me, just a whisper of darkness. 1 teaspoon of black cocoa powder. Now, Carnival of Souls was filmed in black and white by choice. Isolation feels harsher without warmth. And now that we've tossed, we indulge. Dr. Zirkus, how are you faring?
I don't have any corn on the cob. Shortcut!
That is not exactly correct, but if it works for you.
Today's show is brought to you by Chicken in a Casket, America's favorite funeral cracker, and by Bot Pockets, electronic sandwiches, now with a built-in microwave.
Bot Pocket.
For our primary course, we will be having what I have decided to call the Ferryman's Parfait. We start with a simple skillet. Medium, high heat. And now we let it warm.
Heat up a pan. This is going to take a while.
All right, doctor. If you're prepared, so am I. I have here 93% lean ground beef. It's my preferred. I won't go any lower than 90%. Now we carefully, very carefully, open the ground beef. If you don't have a simple rectangular container and you have the tube like I do. Here's the fun part. Waste not, want not. There we are. The correct utensils. We now brown the meat. And grind it. Chop your ground beef as fine as you can. Make sure. In the UK, they would call this mince anyway, and that's what you want. Mince. you have one of these tools in particular, it will help with lean beef exponentially. Trying to do this with a spatula is going to take about twice the time. Now we lightly salt. And pepper. Just a little bit of seasoning. How are you doing, Doctor? Is it coming along well? This is taking forever. My arm hurts. While mincing this meat, you can pretend that it is the face of the very annoying neighbor in the movie. Truly, Carnival of Souls was ahead of its time. A young independent woman with no interest in male suitors whatsoever. In the 1960s, early 1960s for that matter. Such a thing was unheard of, or at least improper. Darling, do what you gotta do with this. This took for fucking ever, man. But we finally have browned meat. Now that our meat is browned, we will set it aside. And from here, I'm using instant mashed potatoes. But you don't have to. You can be fancy and peel your own potatoes, or just cut your potatoes and boil them and make them from scratch. We just follow the package instructions. It's not difficult. 2 cups of boiling water. Add this. All right, Doctor, now that we have boiling water, we add and then we turn it down. See, even I mess up sometimes. Remove from the heat. And we have a perfect consistency. How are we faring, Doctor?
Have a potato. Have a potato.
All right. All right. Carnival of Souls uses sound as isolation. The organ score does not comfort. It separates. And then the lack of sound is deafening. bring this back to a medium heat. And we add a touch of gravy. Once again, canned is fine. If you insist on making your own, that is fine too. But accessibility is also very important. Now, for plating, for the ferryman's parfait, I will use a parfait glass. A serving of mashed potatoes. Topped with a serving of our meat and gravy. And finally, topped with a sprinkle of sharp cheddar. And that is it. How did you fare, Doctor?
Ready for potatoes. 1 potato. 2 potatoes. What the hell is that? That's an alien. And a little bit of fire. Son of a bitch! Woof.
Ladies and gentlemen, this commercial is going to use subliminal advertising. That means you will never see or hear the name of the product. Oh, it'll be there on the screen all right, but the naked eye cannot detect it. This way you sit back, relax, and enjoy me as I tell you this rather funny story. It seems that these 3 men decided to take a trip.
Okay, I got my taters and my gravy made, and oh no, I forgot to cook the meat. I've got to get ready. That's pretty good. Where do you go when you're dying for something to eat? How about Skeezer and Popeye's Roadkill Cafe? We have a wonderful menu of all kinds of great things like biscuits in graveyard. These are really good with strangled eggs. And how about some roach beef? And of course we have brain salad, the chef's own eyeball soup, and Skeezer's favorite, hamburger magatoni. All this at the Roadkill Cafe, open from midnight until the health department shuts us down.
How much Jack do you think's in that strong box?
I don't know. There's plenty of Cuban sugar, though.
Here's what happened. The general beat his friend Castro to the Cuban treasury. The strongbox is now on this boat. So are a deported American gangster and his moll. And lurking in the depths is the creature from the haunted sea.
It's got one of the planes. It's coming after me.
While the beach set twists to the big beat sound of the Delaires, swinging out with 6 rocking hits. While the cycle gangs burn up the road and strong-arm their way into the party with fists flying. While teenagers prepare for a secluded slumber party, terror strikes from the bottom of the sea. An invasion of ghoulish atomic beasts who live off human blood.
All right, Doctor. Lastly, we have liminal lemon shakeups. We indulge, but we do not surrender with sweetness. 1 decent-sized lemon. Cut in half. I have filled this cup, which is a cocktail shaker, about 3/4 of the way full with cold water. We take 1/2 of our lemon, squeeze, we take our sweetener, one, 2. I knew that was going to happen. I just knew it as I was doing this. I have used this one whole time in the years I've had it. That'll do. And that way we strain out the seeds. Cheers. It's rather good.
Lemony.
Additionally, if you would like, you can add this. I am not tonight, but it's an option for fortitude. Decay has a memory. Abandoned places are rarely empty, and carnivals
never truly close.
Doctor, I trust you survived. Remember, darlings, it's okay to bite someone, if you have to.
Well, I think we're faring fairly well here for all things considered. How are you doing, Frank? You seem to be okay. We want to tell you a little bit about Carnival of Souls from 1962. It stars Candace Hilligoss as the poor woman who you see throughout the movie being plagued by a variety of ghosts and spirit faces and such. The one face that you see most often in this is a gentleman named Herc Harvey. And Herc Harvey was actually the director of the movie, and he was known for doing a lot of 1950s era public service announcements, some of the goofy things that you'll see, like in school movies and such, for people that are old enough to have seen things like that. So, Frank, do you think that we should maybe get out of this culinary mode that we are in? Yeah, let's do that. And a little bit of reverse magic right now. How about this? And just like that, here we are again, back in Dr. Zirkus and Frank mode for the Haunted Dungeon. Well, we want to thank Dahlia Nightshade for her participation in this. I think I learned quite a bit about cooking. I learned that there's a lot of things that I can't do. And, Frank, maybe you learned a few things as well. And we also want to thank Dahlia Nightshade's videographer. His name is Braden Miller. He was the guy that was manning the camera for her segments. So until next time, as we say, cheers and fears, kiddies.